All around is decay and destruction. Unemployment, illiteracy, arson, and despair have stopped a lot of people here. They didn't stop Robert Roman. He turned from gang leader to construction worker at a low-income apartment project sponsored in part by the government. But now he's afraid President Reagan's economic plan will put an end to such projects.
I want to be able to buy myself a car and buy myself one of them new apartments or a new house, you know, that they're going to bring into the neighborhood for low-income families. I want to be able to do all those things. You know, I want to be able to live a normal life like that. You know, I don't want to have to just start, scheming, you know, and driving people for money and for jobs, and you know, I don't want to go back to that.
Washed over the city, courtesy of the Italian mafia, and the police department was so notoriously corrupt that the Knapp Commission was set up to investigate the widespread bribery that organized crime used to insulate themselves from the law.
6 weeks ago in Harlem, Black Panthers seized large quantities of heroin from drug peddlers and poured it into the street. They refused to turn it over to police because they insisted police would only resell it to the pushers. Some former pushers say police were more interested in getting their heroin than arresting them.
On one occasion I was dealing drugs, and they came and took all my drugs and just let me go. Who's they? The police.
Our investigation has certainly shown that we are not dealing with a few rotten apples by any means. But, it's not the rotten apples, it's the barrel.
Puerto Ricans had been granted U.S. citizenship in 1917, and after the war, they became the largest group coming into New York.
This is the Southeast Bronx, one of the worst of New York's sprawling slums. About 1/3 of the city's 1 million Puerto Ricans live in this area.
By the mid-'60s, the South Bronx was in a state of economic freefall.
Every study that has been made indicates that the Puerto Ricans live in the worst conditions of slum housing, have the worst jobs, have the lowest educational attainment, and by every index of health and poverty are suffering to a greater extent than any other group.
Heroin ravaged the population, and gangs made up of unemployed and poverty-stricken teenagers with names like the Savage Skulls and the Black Spades ruled the streets.
A man probably high on drugs. Scenes like this are common throughout the Southeast Bronx. As the police see it, the reason for the upsurge in crime is the rocketing rate of drug addiction, higher among Puerto Ricans in New York than among any other minority group. Young men stand openly with hypodermic needles in their hands on the main shopping street.
I supported my habit by robbing in apartments in my building where I used to live. It worked, but not all the time, so I would have to go to 42nd Street and sell my body.
Sometimes the people knock the door, when the person in the house opened the door, they try to kill them and they try to rob them, you know. I can't live in here anymore. I can't take any more of this.
It's too dangerous.